here since the last video I posted, and it's rained here for several days. I shaved my beard so that I could work with a respirator, and here's what the boat is looking like. I realized that these mast tracks are leaking. I'm sure that the companionway hatch is probably leaking as well, but it doesn't really feel like it's wet in the same spots as the mast tracks. That's the nuts for it up there, and it's all wet down here. So also I think the mast step, and there's a bunch of holes up here that I have yet to patch. So those are some priorities. I also found I was emptying all the foam, which you'll see in another clip. And there's the aftermath of that. But you can see the light right there, and that's a big scratch in the exterior paint, and you can see light through the fiberglass. So gonna do some pretty serious bottom job work, and there's just so much stuff that needs to be rebedded, so that's what's on the list. Another thing that happened is that when I took apart the rudder and the tiller yesterday, and its whole assembly and the pin tools, and noticed that this was cracked, so I think I'm just gonna go for a new solid piece of hardwood, because that's what this is, and I'll just epoxy it, and that'll be that. And then there's a tree that fell in the yard last night, and it knocked over the mast, so now the mast is moved to right in front of my workbench. So here's what I'm looking at now. That's like the cooler that's in the cockpit seat. This is the transom back there with a whole mess of maybe foam. I'm not sure. It's going to be pretty hard for me to get back there, but after removing all the flotation foam, this is all a huge mess. I've got standing water. I can barely turn in here, it's kind of funny. But I've got standing water right there. That's the winch point to bring the swing keel down. That's the actual hinge point of the swing keel. So this is where the keel pivot point is. I'm gonna be checking all this as soon as possible, but I'm going to drill holes here and here to go through to where the flotation foam used to be, and then I will put a bilge pump, just a small one, that will pump out into the cockpit. And then these under the quarter berths that used to be full of flotation foam, I'm going to actually fill with expanding foam. So I will have to wall off part of that, and I'm gonna probably try to do that with fiberglass. All the plywood really needs to be rebuilt, and like I said earlier, everything needs to be rebedded, so I'm gonna start on a plan of attack for all of that.